And now, before I get going on this whole wrap up with some amazing information, don't be alarmed. I haven't hurt myself. It's just a fake wound from earlier. I just wanted to leave it there because it looks pretty cool. All right, now, of course, by now, you probably know there's two sort of main types of blood, right? There's the bright red blood, which is full of oxygen, and the dark red blood, which has got a lot less oxygen in it. Well, hold on to your hats. Not all human blood is the same. It comes in different types, called blood types. So that's easy to remember, isn't it? And what makes these types different? Well, it all comes down to the red blood cells, the things that carry the oxygen. Because those red blood cells, which kind of look a little bit like red donuts, they have little different things on the surface, little spiky things called antigens. Now, those little spiky things come in different varieties. So they might have A spikes, or B spikes, or A and B spikes, or none of those spikes. And that's what gives us type A blood, type B blood, type AB blood, and type O. That's the none. It really should be type 0, shouldn't it? So you've got A, AB, B, and O. And just to make it slightly more confusing, there's also a type of spike on there called the rhesus spike, which blood can either have or not have. So it can be positive or negative. So you can get blood types like O positive, which has none of the AB spikes, but it does have the rhesus spike. Or it might be AB positive and everything in between. So you've got the 8 main blood types. Now, why is that important? Well, those little spikes is how your body recognizes your blood and says, oh, that's okay. We don't need to attack that red blood cell. It's one of ours. But if somebody needs a donation of blood, for example, they've had an operation or they've had an accident and they need some more blood, you've got to put the correct kind of, or the compatible kind of blood into their system. Otherwise, their immune system might attack it. And we definitely don't want that to happen. So blood types can be very important. But what about other animals? Have you ever thought what sort of blood they've got? Well, vertebrates, that's animals with backbones, like us, and the birds and the reptiles, well, we all have red blood cells, and our blood functions in a very similar kind of way. But when it comes to things like insects, for example, their blood is technically not known as blood. It's called hemolymph, but it kind of does the same job. It moves around their body carrying nutrients, but in the case of insects, it doesn't carry oxygen. So it's just kind of a cleary, yellowy, green color. So if you ever squash a mosquito and it looks like it's got blood on it, it's not the mosquito's blood, I'm afraid, it's yours. And it gets stranger still. There's other animals like the crustaceans. That's like crabs and lobsters and things like that. Crustaceans don't have red blood. They do have blood though, and it looks like this. Strange but true. They have blue blood. Not red blood cells, blue blood. Now, in our blood, you might remember we've got something called hemoglobin, and that's got an iron molecule in it that carries the oxygen around. Well, in crabs, they've got something called hemocyanin, and that's got a copper molecule in it that carries the oxygen around. And as a result, they literally have blue blood. Amazing. Oh, and then there are animals that use blood as a food source. Now, you probably remember the mosquito from before. The female mosquitoes like to drink a little bit of blood to make their babies, but there are other animals that drink blood too. They sound like they're from some sort of nightmarish sort of fairy tale, but there are actually real creatures called vampire bats. And they're quite small and they drink blood to survive. But don't worry, they're not found in Australia and they mostly feed on cows. But amazing creatures nonetheless.